DuPage Tower. I apologize. I just flew over your field. I didn't realize it was going that fast. Actually, I am. I'm in and out of the clouds right now.
On a crisp and clear Saturday morning, a sleek Cirrus SR20 lifts off from Marion Regional Airport, embarking on a 150 nautical mile journey to DuPage Airport in West Chicago. The flight marks the end of a cherished holiday break for 21-year-old Ramie Harris, who is returning to Wheaton College after spending Thanksgiving with family and friends in her hometown of Marion, Indiana. The plan is simple yet meaningful, a round-trip journey with her father at the controls, accompanied by her 20-year-old sister Shey and 22-year-old Chris Backus, a close family friend. But this flight is more than just a routine trip. For Ramie, it is a heartfelt farewell after her Thanksgiving break visit, blending the family's excitement for the journey with the bittersweet emotion of sending her off to continue her academic dreams at Wheaton College. Piloting this Cirrus SR20 aircraft, registration November 223 Charlie Delta, is 46-year-old Ray Harris, a well-respected businessman from Marion, Indiana, known for his entrepreneurial drive and love of aviation. A dedicated pilot, Ray earned his private pilot certificate on April 22, 2010, transforming a lifelong passion into reality. He logged 207 total flight hours, with 114 hours in the Cirrus SR20, a modern, high-performance aircraft equipped with advanced avionics and the Cirrus airframe parachute system, a built-in emergency parachute designed to enhance survivability in critical situations. While committed to expanding his flying skills, Ray's experience in instrument meteorological conditions is limited, and without an instrument rating, he is restricted to operating under visual flight rules, relying on clear skies and visibility for safe navigation. Although no formal flight plan is filed, November 223 Charlie Delta departs Marion Regional Airport at 0830 local time, setting a northwesterly course toward DuPage Airport in West Chicago, Illinois. The 150 nautical mile journey is expected to take around 1 hour and 30 minutes in the Cirrus SR20, factoring in typical cruising speeds, as well as potential variations due to weather conditions and wind patterns. Upon arrival at DuPage Airport, the plan is to drop Ramie off and take a moment to say their goodbyes, ensuring she is settled and ready to return to Wheaton College. They intend to keep the stop brief and avoid unnecessary delays. With a same-day turnaround, Ray, Shey, and Chris plan to depart DuPage shortly after, retracing their route back to Marion Regional Airport, with an expected arrival just after midday. Just over an hour into the flight, November 223 Charlie Delta continues on its northwesterly course toward DuPage Airport, cruising at 2,400 feet above mean sea level. As Ray, his two daughters, and Chris press forward, the weather deteriorates more rapidly than anticipated. Earlier that morning, Ray had discussed the forecast with a local chief flight instructor at Marion Regional Airport, acknowledging the adverse conditions predicted for the area. However, he remained confident that VFR conditions would prevail at DuPage Airport upon his arrival. Contrary to his expectations, the atmosphere ahead grows increasingly unstable. Layers of cloud thicken and shift, while a dense haze begins to obscure the horizon. Light rain and mist emerge, progressively eroding visibility and limiting Ray's ability to navigate by visual references alone. What began as a routine cross-country flight now demands heightened vigilance as the encroaching weather steadily narrows the margin of safety. By 9:52, weather reports at DuPage Airport indicate an overcast ceiling at 900 feet, with visibility reduced to 3 miles in light rain and mist, significantly increasing navigational challenges. By 9:58, radar data places the aircraft approximately 2 miles south of DuPage Airport, descending to 1,600 feet as visibility continues to deteriorate. Amid the worsening conditions, Ray initiates radio contact with DuPage Tower.
DuPage Tower, 223 Charlie Delta.
223 Charlie Delta to Page Tower.
Coming in, let me see, visual flight rules. Was wondering if we're going to be available for landing.
3 Charlie Delta, the field is IFR, say intentions.
30 seconds later, Ray reaches out to DuPage Tower again, this time with an unexpected admission.
DuPage Tower, I apologize. I just flew over your field. I didn't realize it was going that fast.
3 Charlie Delta, it's IFR, say your intentions.
If it's IFR, we're going to move on down. I was just checking. I went down to about 2,000 and could see pretty well, so I was going to see if you were available.
1 Charlie Delta, do you want to land at DuPage?
If possible, that would be wonderful.
Do you have the field in sight, sir?
Cirrus SR20.
Yeah. Do you have the field, the DuPage Airport in sight?
Yeah, we just flew past.
Okay, just make a right 180 and land 20 right, wind 20015.
Right 180, 20 right.
After unexpectedly overflying the airport, Ray expresses surprise at how quickly it passed beneath him, a strong indication that he may never have had it in sight at all. Recognizing the urgency, DuPage Tower issues a landing clearance, instructing him to execute a right 180-degree turn and land on runway 20 right. However, 2 minutes later, Ray reports that he no longer has the airport in sight. In response, the controller provides a suggested heading to guide him back, but by this point, Ray seems to be having second thoughts about landing at DuPage altogether.
3 Charlie Delta, say intentions?
I think I'm about tempted. Is there an airport close that has better visibility? Because I don't want to get in there and get stuck all day.
3 Charlie Delta, do you want to talk to Chicago Approach? They can help with vectors. Are you?
No, I think I'm okay doing it either way, but I was just... do you have a later airport, or a report today?
3 Charlie Delta, Chicago Executive, the weather there is, they have visibility of 10, their ceiling's 1,500 overcast, their VFR right now.
Chicago Executive Airport, commonly referred to as Palwaukee within the aviation community, lies approximately 16 nautical miles northeast from the position of November 223 Charlie Delta.
Roger that. What's their code?
3 Charlie Delta, it's Papa Whiskey Kilo.
Roger, Papa Whiskey Kilo. Thank you again.
3 Charlie Delta, are you familiar with the area at all?
I done what am I trying to say? My training there.
3 Charlie Delta, Roger. Would you like to talk to Approach? They can give you suggestive headings and help you get into Milwaukee a little better than I can.
I'm still trying to decide if I want to try to land at the stage or not. Would you think that's a good idea or not?
Recognizing Ray's hesitation and uncertainty, DuPage Tower grows increasingly concerned. His vague response about familiarity with the area and reluctance to accept navigational assistance suggest mounting stress and indecision. Sensing that Ray may be struggling more than he acknowledges, the controller changes his approach from suggesting alternate airports to evaluating his ability to manage the situation. To determine the level of risk, the controller directly asks whether he is flying in IFR conditions and if he holds an IFR qualification, a critical moment that underscores the growing urgency of the situation.
3 Charlie Delta, are you currently VFR right now? 3 Charlie Delta, are you in the clouds or are you clear of the clouds?
Actually, I am. I'm in and out of the clouds right now.
3 Charlie Delta, are you IFR qualified?
I'm in IFR training, and I let this get around me.
Now fully aware of the escalating situation, DuPage Tower reaches out to Chicago TRACON, seeking assistance in guiding November 223 Charlie Delta toward an airport still under VFR conditions.
Sector 3 DuPage.
3.
Hey, see that VFR target approximately 10 miles north of us at 2,200?
Yep.
He's in the clouds and he needs vectors either into us or Milwaukee. Looks like they have a better ceiling. And he's not IFR qualified. Can you give him suggested headings to get him to at least Milwaukee?
Wow. What is Milwaukee's weather?
They're showing at a ceiling of 1,500 and 10 for the visibility.
Okay. Let me get right back to you, right?
All right, thanks so much.
Hey, are you still there?
I am.
You see about 11 miles northwest of DuPage at 2,000 there? I'm not talking to that guy DuPage Towers. He says he's not IFR qualified. He's looking to go get vectors for Milwaukee if he can VFR.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm just going to tell DuPage to send him over to you, okay?
Okay.
The situation is now deteriorating rapidly. Ray's focus is entirely consumed by the immediate challenge of maintaining control in worsening conditions, leaving little capacity to process other critical decisions. His increasingly fragmented radio transmissions reveal a pilot under immense stress, struggling to keep up with the escalating demands of the flight. At 10:12, a new controller at Chicago Approach North Sector reaches out to November 223 Charlie Delta, offering assistance and attempting to provide guidance in an increasingly dire situation.
November 233, Charlie Delta, Chicago Approach.
223 Charlie Delta. We're heading out of your area and going to get to better visibility.
And November 223, Charlie Delta. Okay, you're just going to continue westbound VFR?
Roger that.
And November 223, Charlie Delta, just for your information, executive is showing an overcast at 1,500 feet. Waukegan's an overcast at 1,400. You have DuPage, and I'm looking up Rockford right now for you. And Rockford at 700 feet overcast.
DuPage is where we'd want to go, but it seemed like it was lower than 900 feet or 1,000 feet.
Yeah, DuPage right now is showing overcast at 900 feet.
Roger that. If that's the case, I think we'll just head to DuPage.
DuPage is IFR.
Roger that. I apologize. I was thinking it was 800 feet. Where was the closer point of CFR?
And November 223 Charlie Delta, the closest one I'm showing is executive. And like I said, that's showing an overcast of 1,500 feet.
Roger that. We'll head towards executive. Can you remind me of their call letters?
Papa, Whiskey, Kilo.
Roger, Papa, Whiskey, Kilo.
Number 77 Whiskey, and climb and maintain 2,400.
Roger, 2,400.
This number 77 Whiskey, we're at 2,000.
Number 77 Whiskey, affirmative. 2,400 for me, please.
77 Whiskey, right up to 2,400.
And I think someone else read back the 2,400. That was for 77 Whiskey only. Number 223 Charlie Delta.
223 Charlie Delta.
November 3 Charlie Delta. I just want to make sure that altitude restriction was not for you.
Roger, 2,400 and hold.
Negative 223 Charlie Delta. That altitude was not for you, sir. Maintain VFR.
As Chicago Approach manages multiple aircraft, a routine altitude assignment to another plane inadvertently causes confusion for Ray. The controller and the intended recipient quickly recognize the mix-up, but Ray, already under mounting stress, mistakenly acknowledges the clearance as his own. ATC promptly intervenes, instructing him to disregard the altitude change and maintain VFR. This brief exchange underscores Ray's increasing cognitive overload. His ability to process and respond accurately to ATC instructions is deteriorating, further compounding the challenges he faces in an already overwhelming situation. At 10:22, just 8 minutes later, Ray informs Chicago Approach that he has decided against landing at Palwaukee and is instead navigating out of the area.
Cirrus 223 Charlie Delta Executive ATIS information. Victor is current. And let me know when you can navigate direct. And would you like flight following?
At this point, I don't want to mess with the weather. I'm going to get out. I don't want to get stuck in here.
Cirrus 223 Charlie Delta. Okay, so you're no longer inbound to executive?
No, we've navigated out of your airspace.
Cirrus 223 Charlie Delta, frequency change is approved.
Charlie Delta.
The time is 10:24. Ray's final radio transmission marked the last known exchange with November 223 Charlie Delta. By this point, Ray has initiated a left turn, possibly in an effort to locate an airport with VFR conditions or reconsider his next course of action. Less than a minute later, he starts another turn, this time to the right. Tragically, what may have begun as a course correction rapidly escalates into an uncontrolled descending spiral, and within moments, radar contact is lost. At 10:26 a.m., November 223 Charlie Delta crashed approximately 22 nautical miles north-northwest of DuPage Airport. On-site evidence revealed that the Cirrus airframe parachute system had been deployed, with the parachute canopy draped over a nearby tree. This indicates an attempt to activate the safety system. However, the effort proved ineffective, likely due to insufficient altitude or delayed deployment, thus failing to reduce the aircraft's rate of descent. Consequently, the aircraft impacted terrain with significant force, resulting in the fatal injuries of all 4 occupants. The main wreckage, comprising the fuselage, right wing, and horizontal stabilizer, came to rest 97 feet north of the initial tree strike. The engine separated from the airframe and was located 155 feet away, while the propeller assembly detached and was discovered 131 feet from the main wreckage. The vertical stabilizer and rudder also broke off and were found 30 feet from the fuselage. A post-accident examination revealed no indications of mechanical failure or pre-impact malfunctions, confirming that the aircraft was structurally intact prior to the crash. An intriguing item found among the accident debris was a ticket to an Indianapolis Colts football game scheduled for the following day, November 27, 2011. Following an extensive investigation, the National Transportation Safety Board released its final report on May 15, 2012, detailing the fatal accident involving November 223 Charlie Delta. The report concluded that the probable cause was the non-instrument-rated pilot's decision to continue flight into adverse weather conditions, leading to spatial disorientation and a subsequent loss of control. On the morning of the flight, Ray was aware that weather at his destination was marginal, but he did not anticipate its rapid deterioration into instrument meteorological conditions. Although several alternate airports in the area remained under VFR, he was hesitant to divert, concerned that further deterioration after landing could leave him stranded. His resolve to complete the journey, likely influenced by plans to return home for the Indianapolis football game scheduled for the following day, may have played a role in his decision to continue the flight despite the increasing risks. Without an instrument rating, Ray was ill-equipped to manage the deteriorating weather, relying solely on visual cues that became increasingly unreliable as visibility declined. As conditions worsened, his stress levels escalated, impairing his ability to process information and make sound decisions. This became evident in his fragmented and at times incoherent communications with ATC, as he struggled to interpret instructions and commit to a course of action. His hesitation and miscommunication indicate cognitive overload, a well-documented phenomenon in pilots operating beyond their level of training. By continuing the flight despite these limitations, Ray not only placed himself and his passengers in jeopardy, but also posed a risk to other aviators in the airspace. Ultimately, Ray succumbed to spatial disorientation, a condition in which a pilot loses the ability to accurately perceive the aircraft's attitude, altitude, or speed relative to the Earth's horizon. Without an instrument rating, he lacked the training to recognize and correct the sensory illusions that develop in low visibility conditions. As a result, he gradually entered a right-hand turn, which intensified into an accelerating spiral dive, a common consequence of disorientation in instrument meteorological conditions. In a final effort to regain control, an attempt was made to deploy the Cirrus airframe parachute system. However, due to insufficient altitude or a delayed activation, the system was unable to arrest the aircraft's descent, rendering the life-saving mechanism ineffective. Ray likely had two primary objectives that day: to ensure his daughter, Ramie, returned to Wheaton College after her spring break visit, and to make it home the same day in preparation for attending the Indianapolis Colts football game the following day. However, his fixation on completing both tasks led him to overlook the escalating risks, allowing get-there-itis to cloud his judgment. In the end, he achieved neither goal and instead paid the ultimate price, along with his two daughters and a close friend, for his decisions, a tragic reminder of the consequences of pressing on when conditions demand otherwise.